Get promos and discounts from Filipino startups. Check out our partners at the description. Toffee Perez is COO and co-founder at Board Prep. So hello Toffee, welcome to Startup Podcast. We're very happy to have you and Board Prep here.
Oh, we're also excited and thrilled to have this interview with Startup Podcast, and thank you for the subscribers of Startup Podcast for recommending us here. Then, yes, I'm Tofi from Board Preps.
Yeah, so isa ito no, sa mga startups na rin-recommend ng mga listeners and ng partners actually ng Startup Podcast. And I'm actually very interested kay Board Prep kasi I know from the name itself pa lang no, meron itong kinalaman sa board exams and
That's
preparation But I let you have that I let you answer that question Tofi. So ano nga ba ang Board Prep?
so right now. We started in 2022, just last year, and then we developed a website that has questions and rationalized by previous board top-notchers. So the reason why we created this one, kasi before in Nueva Ecija, mahirap makakuha ng registration sa mga review centers, and it takes so much money from the students. At present, umabot na 15,000 to 23,000 ang registration just for the review exam. And not all people can afford that, especially kung wala ka pang work. So yung mga students, really hard time for them to get into a review center, and not getting to a review center eventually mahirap din pumasa. So it's really naging necessary and need siya for people who are taking the exam. So yeah, we created Board Prep by offering very very actually cost effective na offer. They can save at around 94% of the total enrollment cost by just joining and using our platform.
Yeah, actually that's very true I guess hindi lang din so you mentioned kanina that this started like from an area not in Manila, but I guess also in Manila very heavy kasi talaga yung costume burden ng pagte-take ng board exam, lalo na when you have to take the board exam, you have to review, review beyond what you have learned pa actually from college no? So parang nagiging kasama itong cost na ito as you take the board exam pero let's dwell muna dito no sa problem na inyong na-tackle really about board exams. So, para lang sa mga nakikinig na medyo unfamiliar pa sa konsepto ng board exam. So, I'll have you, Tofi, explain muna ano nga ba ang board exam and why do Filipinos take the board exam? And in the Philippines, ano-ano ba itong mga board exam na ito? So, maybe we can start also with that.
Yeah, thank you, Johnny. So yeah, the PRC, or the Professional Regulations Commission, usually ask silang certifying body to provide, licensing body to provide exams sa mga white labeled professionals dito sa Philippines. So most of the white labeled professionals here, when they graduated, sometimes the employer will look for their license kung pwede sila mag-practice ng profession nila. So for instance, this is very particular for people in medicine, people who deal with other people with or even engineering, madami ding needed dyan. So
Yes.
sometimes employers will have to ask if you are a PRC regulated or licensed practitioner ka na, kung nakapasa ka na with the exam before you can actually go for work. And it's a problem here in the country kasi most of the exams, on average, around 3 out of 10. So that's only 30% of people who are passing. So the eventual impact of that, yung 7 na hindi nakapasa, yung 70% na hindi nakapasa, they can practice their own profession, or even ang gagawin na lang nila, they will look for another job. And mag-occupy na sila ng other job. So nagkakaroon siya ng underemployment na problem, na kasi kinuha mo yung job na hindi naman para sa'yo kasi wala kang makuhang job na appropriate for you because wala kang license in the first place. So yun.
Yes. And actually, to add to that lang, tama yung sinabi mo about the need for license, especially for this somehow critical jobs. Actually, kaya kailangan ng license itong mga jobs like being a doctor, being an engineer, kasi may other lives. Kumbaga yung trabaho mo ay hindi lang basta trabaho, no? You're dealing with other people's lives, and somehow other people's lives depend on your work. So kailangan na may quality, may certain standard na na-achieve kumbaga yung work na kaya mong gawin. Para din sa kumbaga sa sureness of course ng life ng ibang tao. And then actually very suited ang board prep, ang concept na ito sa kumbaga sa new normal about with regards to the pandemic, kasi dati very standard, very normal yung parang when you will study for a board exam, lahat kayo magte-take ng review sa mga review centers pero this is like a new perspective into it. merong
Very
merong
digital. Oo.
yeah, merong digital way. No? Sige, I love you explain na really how this works. So paano nga ba nag-work si board prep?
So basically, they would go to the website, myboardprep.com, and then they would choose for the subject that they wanted to. And then when they open it, they can try some of the questions. If they like it, they can subscribe. For a 3 months access, they can pay for around 500 pesos, and that can give them the whole roster of the subjects of the exam. Tapos yung mga gumawa nun is yung mga previous board top notchers din. Kasi we realized
Ah,
na this can't only be just a petty question. Kailangan advanced to. Kasi pagdating
yes.
mo sa board, dapat prepared ka, well prepared ka. So we really took the time and get the effort to get to the board top notchers para sila mag-craft ng questions, sila mag-rationalize. So the questions, meron doon, multiple choice, but then meron pang rationalization like why is it the answer? Yun, ganun siya. It works. And it really works now na digitalized siya kasi ang review centers, ang current format niya ay usually face-to-face. So
Yes.
people sa remote area, they cannot usually go to a review center. Presently, meron mga review center nasa Metro Manila, nasa Metro Cebu, Metro Davao, pero yung people from say Sulu, Basilan, layo, you can't. You have to fly pa. And usually yun yung nangyayari, you have to fly, you have to stay for 6 months to an accommodation, yung pagkain,
Ah,
yung registration fee pa. So, ang dami mong binabayaran just to have the review. And it's really disrupting a little bit of the industry kasi now people can at least get the chance of fighting for the exam by just using our platform.
yes. Actually, very right yung sinabi mo, no? That is not, of course, you're parang helping toward, I mean, with regard to the cost. Pero hindi lang ito cost yung accessibility, kumbaga, yung overall accessibility. Kasi it's true, no, na medyo centered yung mga review centers sa ilang parts ng Manila na hindi naman normally accessible sa Filipinos from all over the country. And ito na yung new normal pagdating ng mga, we have access to these kinds of tools, ano, na within our cell phones, within our computers, within our personal gadgets, magkakaroon tayo ng access sa mga ganito. And you mentioned kanina na that they started with Nueva Ecija, no? So can you tell about your operation? So sino na ba ang mga taong o sino na ba ang mga board exam reviewers na inyong natulungan? Do you have any knowledge on that, or and do you really plan to market this like to the whole Philippines, to different
Okay.
parts of the country? How do you plan towards that?
Sige. Una muna, we started with veterinary doctors. Yung mga magti-take ng veterinary medicine in Nueva Ecija, that was in August last year. But then, with yung first day namin ng operations, nag-flock kagad yung mga bumili. And then we realized na, okay, I think may opportunity for this one. So, on the same year, we already have 6 of them. We have psychologists, psychometrician, criminology, agriculture, fisheries, and then kagabi we just released yung food technology. So that's how it works. We wanted to create more of these subjects kasi marami pang mga students who can't really go to a review center. May mga upcoming pa mga board exam na licensing na wala pa review center. So it's a really good opportunity for them. Tapos yung last question mo, if we have plans to scale across the Philippines. Actually, we did on the first day namin. Nakaka-reach na kami na Mindanao and Cebu, in Visayas. So meron na kaming around 232 as far as I can, 232 na cities kung saan kami may mga users around. Tapos hindi lang siya sa Philippines ngayon kasi meron na rin kaming subscribers in Finland, in North America, at saka sa Singapore. So, alam mo yung
Mm.
marketing namin just fully content marketing lang across the Philippines. But just so happened that our yung mga minamarket namin na mga content, sometimes it goes viral. Kaya
Yeah.
na-post siya sa ibang countries. And then now they're also using it.
Yeah, having a good product nga no is actually good marketing na itself.
Oo, totoo. Yun.
And it's actually very interesting ano. I mean, I can relate personally no napagkwentuhan natin before this podcast that before a few years ago actually I took the GRE ano. It's an exam. It's not a board exam, but it's an exam for further studies. And actually, although I can review sa like a review center, pinili kong hindi. Pinili kong mag-solo study. Pinili kong mag-aral through my smartphone to study for the GRE. But now, I want to ask you about that, Tofi, kasi you're disrupting this, kumbaga, this very well normal na way of reviewing for the board exam. So, in your perspective lang, parang what do you think are really the differences? Kasi somehow sa review center may difference din na parang you can
Mm.
talk to other people. Now
Totoo.
you just do it by yourself. And I also ask about the content. Parang gano'n maraming questions ito, kasi another difference maybe then sa review center, I'm not sure but kung matatanong mo ba yung nagre-review sa inyo pero I guess not I think it depends on the review center. Pero meron din mga ganitong you said no na meron parang explanation, meron parang discussion. Pero can you tell no how comprehensive kumbaga yung content din ni board prep? But I'm sure it's actually very contentful and it's actually very helpful kasi ayun nga it went viral. So, but can you give some insights about that?
So, to be fair din naman, a review center is also a good by its own traditional business. Some people can go to a review center, they can talk to the lecturer. The lecturer has the whole day and the whole span of the weeks, no, mentoring them. And it's really, to be fair, okay pa din naman sila na, na business model. Pero yun nga, yung we're actually targeting most of mga self-study, like you. Yun talaga ang walang access. So, in terms of the content, yung content na we wanted to bring about with board prep, kasi may pina-follow kami na table of specifications. So PRC releases these kinds of table of specifications across different subjects nila. Tapos nakalagay doon kung yung mga competencies na kailangan i-check mark, kailangan ng estudyante. So, itong table of specifications, what we do, on most of our subjects, we give it to our board top-notch contributors. Tapos para meron silang idea that they have to fill in yun. Ganun yung namin, yung way namin. Pero I will not say na we're the best in the industry. I mean the board review centers are still great in traditional business pero we're disrupting, that's true. Pero ang pinaka-kinikater talaga namin na mga self-study at yung mga walang ability to go to a review center.
Yeah, and it can actually work hand in hand naman. Pwede naman parang supplement
Actually,
sa
we also do work hand in hand sa kasi right now nasa Central Luzon State University most of our students, but then meron din silang sarili nilang review centers there doon. And then nakikipag-partner sila. Kasi siguro the power of board prep is that yung kinukuha namin ng mga content, it's coming from the previous board top-notchers. Now, a typical review center, meron na silang sarili nilang homegrown na review na board top-notchers. Sarili nila yon. Pero hindi lang naman kasi yun yung nagta-top-notch. May mga other schools pa na nagta-top-notch. Tapos doon yung power namin kasi nakukuha namin yung mga perspective ng other other notch na hindi kasama doon sa review center kung saan ka galing. So, nagiging interested with board prep. Sometimes they also offer board prep in partnership with us. Kasi nakikita na the more coverage, the better. Actually, yun naman talaga ang better way for studying. The more coverage, the better. The more questions, the better.
Yeah, that's actually true, And yung sinabi mo about making the content, I really like that yung parang na-list doon yung mga competencies kasi that's how I think education should happen naman Parang ito yung objectives for the student to learn about. So let's start with that. Hindi lang sa content, let's look at the objectives and then yung gagawa ng questions or yung gagawa ng reviews ng reviewer should look not at like just asking these questions, but looking at I'm asking this question because this is what the reviewer or the student should learn about, and this is what he or she should be able to accomplish after studying or after reviewing this material. Yeah. Now, punta naman tayo sa stories behind board prep. It's actually very interesting. You mentioned na nanggaling ito sa Nueva Ecija, but now you have an office based in Manila and meron kayong mga operations or meron kayong market or meron kayong mga users outside the Philippines. So, first, how really did board prep start? I mean, how did you find out about the problem and what was, kumbaga, hindi ganun kadali magsimula ng ng startup. Hindi ganun kadali maging startup founder. Hindi madali yung parang jump to become an entrepreneur. So, how did this all really happen?
So it started with Ryan and Doc Errol. So Doc Errol is one of our board top-notchers na co-founder din. So nag-start yun somewhere in March. So nag-uusap yan sila sa may ilog. As far as I can recall the stories. Tapos doon nila na-realize na kailangan ng mga veterinary, yung mga magte-take ng veterinary exam, kailangan nila ng supplemental to help them pass the actual exam. Kasi mahirap ang veterinary exam. Before, it was 30%. Pero parang yung current and actually this year, 9% lang yung pumasa. Anyway, going doon, they realized na they needed that. Tapos nun, they tapped me. Nakabase ako nun sa Office of the Vice President. Kay VP Lenny pa ako nun. That time, tapos sabi nila, Toffee, can you help us, think about this one? Tapos sabi ko, I'm very interested in this one kasi I also have licenses din, and I also na-experience ko din siya, yung struggles of a student who is taking a board exam. So sabi ko, let me help you on this one kasi ang background ko naman ay startups and digital technology. So from that March yun, ginawa namin yung user stories, then we talked to technology provider, and then yun, on August nag-release kami. So before that August pa, syempre meron kami mga parang patikim na marketing ganyan. Pero kami content marketing lang nun. Na yun yung mga nag-viral na marketing namin, pinapost namin kung sino yung mga nagiging contributors, some of the questions na possible lumabas sa board. Kasi yun yung feeling namin na naging strong, yung may example question katapos ng rationalization. People share it. Example question for the exam eh. So, not necessarily na kopyang-kopya naman, no? Yun yung inaano namin, hindi namin kinokopya as much as possible yung exact question. So, anyway, by August noon, nag-start na kami mag-launch noon. Tandaan ko pa noon, nakasakay ako sa angkas noon, papunta somewhere else. Tapos noon, biglang may pumasok ng sales. So, I was so happy na munti ka na ako mahulog dun sa sinasakyan. Kasi it was alam mo yun, parang, we don't know eh. Alam namin na meron kaming traction with our marketing efforts, pero we don't know if it will come into sales. So, nung nag-transform to sales, ayun na. Sabi namin na ito na, we can move forward pa. Tapos actually nabawi na namin yung first day pa lang namin ng operations, nababawi namin kagad yung kapital namin.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Personal capital namin kasi ang daming nag-subscribe nun. So, ayun, yun yung naging story niya na let's see kung saan pa tayo pwede magkaroon ng impact. Tapos sabi namin, actually marami pa sa Central Luzon State University na marami pang needed na subjects. So after nung August, nagkaroon na kami ng agriculture, then hinabol namin yung mga other subjects pa na nandoon. Kaya ganun ang movement namin. So ang story now, ngayong October, we applied for the UST grant funding. So they were very positive on helping us kasi gusto namin siyang i-gamify pa yung solution namin and to increase market penetration namin. So right now kasi our MVP is already working, pero we wanted it more. We wanted it to become better pa, or the product itself to become better. So yung pinapost namin is to add more questions, 1,000 more questions platform. Magkaroon din ng mga gamified features and models to increase yung motivation and engagement ng mga students. Because right now, yung MVP namin, even though it has questions, even it's a very aesthetic platform, napapagod yung students. So we wanted to put some gamified models to increase pa yung kanilang activity with build or prep. And we wanted to see yung mga user data collection, like learning engagement nila on what questions are the best, on what questions are related. So yun yung USD, and hopefully we get it signed back so we can get to move for our next developments for this one. Tapos last week then we were recognized by the Swiss Chamber of Commerce and the Embassy of the Philippines, Embassy of Switzerland in the Philippines, as one of the Swiss Innovation Prize winners for this year. So we're happy that these organizations and institutions recognize what we're doing for the students who are underserved.
That's actually a very good story, ano. I mean, and I can imagine yung munti ka na malaglag sa angkas. kasi it's truly for someone starting something, and I'm not sure if you have previous background na baka other business, pero like yung from 0 to 1, that's actually very very a very big milestone.
Magiging fair naman ako dyan, Johnny, kasi I have a startups before corporate, pero dalawa yun na nag-fail. Maraming reasons but nag-fail, but I learned from that, and then sabi ko I would want to still pursue a startup, and itong work actually, to be honest din with you, yung first ko talaga nagkaroon ng actual sales. Before noon, may prospects pero di naman nagbabayad. So Ngayon, may mga clients hindi naman nagbabayad from our previous din na startup. Pero this one, meron na siyang actual na sales. So, happy ako na gano'n.
Yeah. And that's the thing actually with startups, ano, parang it's sometimes medyo mas madali mag-ideate, madali gumawa ng concept, but actually having like a sustainable business model na yung operations ninyo, yung value that you create for the community, for the market, for the users, ay gusto lang i-sustain by giving you revenues kasi it's actually really valuable for them. Ano. So, yung paghanap ng magandang revenue model, ito actually yung, for me, main critical challenge for many startups kasi we should not always like rely on capital or rely on other sources of fundings, but for me ang best way to support a startup and to show its parang viability is if the users itself, the market itself, or the customer itself pay or parang want to sustain the solution kasi nga they really find it valuable. Speaking of that, ano, paano pala ang inyong model? So you said na meron itong subscription. So is
Yeah.
it a paid download or is they can download for free but they have to pay for the reviews, and is it like payment for a certain content and then maybe for another? So can you tell about the model?
Ano lang, very basic lang yung business model namin. So, once you go into the platform, you have few questions for trial. And then if you like it, you can subscribe for 3 months. So, all the questions, yan, even yung mga upcoming na questions na dumarating. Kasi, ano kami, every now and then, kumukuha pa rin kami ng questions. So, kunwari, this year, nakuha mo 1,000 questions lang na nag-subscribe ka, pero magbulat ka next one, may dumagdag na naman ng mga bagong questions. If you wanted to subscribe further, okay lang naman. After 3 months na mag-expire subscription, you just subscribe again. Ganun lang yung model namin.
I see.
That, actually, iniisip din namin on the future na because we wanted to scale further pa sa ginagawa namin and we wanted to really have impact to other people. Maybe one day we can have the freemium model. Kasi that's also it answers yung mission namin. Our mission is to serve the underserved. But still, even though mura na yung board prep, may mga hindi pa rin nakaka-subscribe. Kaya we wanted to have that kind of model, yung freemium model, where students can actually use it, and then we can have find another business ways of doing a revenue model, maybe from the learning data, maybe from ads, maybe from institution. So, yun ang wino-workout pa rin namin. But yun yung goal namin maybe in the future na let's do something na worth, make impact and something na worthy and purposeful for the company.
Yeah, but that's actually true. You mentioned about the freemium model, and it actually gives more accessibility to the Filipino people. So i-distinguish lang natin pag freemium model, so merong free, merong content that they can access for free, and then maybe if they want more, maybe I'm not sure with your plans, pero if they want more premium content, that's where the subscription comes from. And then pwede rin na parang all else pa lang if they have to subscribe na and they have to pay. Pero na-imagine ko lang may difference na pwedeng itong subscription from the start, pwedeng mas cheap siya overall. Itong freemium, pwedeng free pero mas pataas yung cost nung premium. So meron din mga ganun pag-iisipan when designing the business model.
Something
Complicated din
na
ito
kailangan
actually.
namin EFGD pa yan, market research pa. So actually, ganun yung ginagawa namin before we do something, before we release product or maybe magkaroon ng strategic objectives for the product. We ask muna the customers, what would they be willing to pay? Sana kaya
True. Yeah. And it's actually very important when accessibility of everyone in the Philippines is parang a priority criteria when designing the product. You mentioned Toffee na you have previous startups before going with board prep. Can you share lang a few of the lessons na maaring na-apply mo kumbaga yung mga learnings mo from previous startups and kumbaga na-apply mo with board prep. Kumbaga let's use this din para yung mga iba nakikinig baka may mapulot na mga lessons.
Oo. Yung sa una kong startup noon, you have to develop the MVP first. Kasi that time when we're doing the ideation and we're doing actually the solution nakita namin na yung clients namin, ang daming ina-ask, they were asking so many things. That was a project management platform, impact management platform. They were asking so many things. And then we realized na, teka, hindi na to kaya ng development team natin. It will take years na for the development to fully have that before we actually released it. So, yung MVP very important siya na kailangan magkaroon ka ng mahanap mo where in the picture yung MVP na yun. At dapat ma-ensure mo na that customer has paid you. I-test mo muna yung MVP kung kaya mag-stand alone nun. Then, tsaka ka mag-develop ng features. Pero kung hindi pa kaya mag-stand alone, then look for another MVP. Kasi kung, it's a usual problem for startups na, ayoko ilabas tong product ko muna kasi ang pangit nga or kulang pa siya sa feature. Hindi. Mahirap yan mag-sustain eh. Kasi magde-develop ka, mahal ng developer. Ikaw din, yung mga tao din na working with you, yung mga other costs mo pa. So, something that has to give you money, kahit MVP lang. Alam mo yun, meron kang cash cow somewhere in the picture. Kasi mahirap mag-run ng startup, wala kang trabaho. Alam mo yun? Mahanapin mo financing ang iyong sarili. Ako ngayon, ang hirap alam mo yun, as a startup founder, mahirap mag-finance ng iyong sarili. So, kailangan may cash cow ka that will help you sustain for yourself, for the company. And then, kapag meron ka ng ganong cash cow, kahit MVP man yung cash cow na yun, okay lang yun. Kahit pangit pa yan, okay lang yun. Basta, clients are paid. Doon mo kasi mababalidate eh. Tapos, doon mo i-build kung ano pa yung gusto pa nila.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually, ang goal then with the MVP is parang to really find that product market fit. That your solution, your product, meron talagang certain people na may ganung problema. Meron talagang swak, meron talagang papasukan yung iyong solution. Hindi yung gumagawa ka lang, naglalagay ka ng features, pero wala naman talagang makakagamit, and wala naman talagang kumbaga magbabayad for it. Kasi there should really be a fit, and dapat swak talaga yung solution and the problem. Yung solution na ginagawa ng founder and yung problem of the market or of the users or of the community. Now, let's go sa inyong future plans. You mentioned kanina na you have a plan for gamification, and I'd like to, actually, that's very good, yung gamification for board exam review. Now that I think about it, nung nagre-review ako dati, actually medyo nababore ako, nakakatamad kasi, ginagawa ko siya kasi motivated ako to review and very motivated ako to pass that exam so I can pursue my further studies. Pero we cannot say that it's always the case naman for everyone, like to have that motivation, yung parang inner motivation. Of course, a lot of people have that very strong inner motivation, pero we cannot always say that with everyone else. And I think dun po pasok yung gamification na parang it's a sort of encouragement, and it's a sort of parang, as you've said, parang nakaka-relax din ng utak para, it lightens kumbaga the overall, it makes it more fun. So, can you baka may mga pahapyaw kayo mabigay kung paano ba mangyayari ang gamification sa board prep, and baka may iba pa kayong mga future plans, mga other features na ilalagay nyo kay board prep.
Alright, so naging persistent kasi yan na parang usapan sa amin with the team na yung marketing natin rests on fear. Kahit maglabas lang tayo ng fear marketing dyan na hindi ka papasa sa exam. Alam mo, madami magsasubscribe sa'yo, but we don't want that.
Actually gets.
We don't want that. We are known as a startup that rests on fear. Itong industry rests on fear. So we wanted to have an experience motivating, na engaging, na hindi na matatanggal yung pressure. Kasi mag-exam ka lang, pressured ka, tapos alam mo yun, review mo pa, nakaka-pressure din. So in a way, at least we have to remove that kind of psychological stress. Kasi that in research naman, if you are confident, if you are relaxed, if you are calm during the exam, mas malakas yung odds mo of passing.
I agree.
Kailangan mong mag-pass dun eh. So hindi dapat fear ang maging namin, ang maging environment namin for board prep. So ano yung mga solutions na nilalagay namin na feature? So we wanted to put a leaderboard. That's one. May leaderboard siya, pero anonymize yung leaderboard para hindi ka naman masyado ma-pressured na. Pero at least kita mo lang na, go to go ka pa. Pero aside from leaderboard, we wanted to put some goals and badges. So usually sa ng mga startups, meron mga goals and badges. So, kunwari matapos mo yung questions sa tama, ito yung meron kang lalabas na badge that you can share on your profile, you can share on your Facebook, social media. May mga cute ka na mga badges that you wanted to, get for yourself. Para lang pag bini yung profile mo, kita lahat ng mga magaganda mong badges. So, yun. Meron din kaming solutions din na may mga extra challenge din, like may timer sila kung gusto nila ng time-based yung nila yung studying nila. just to keep them answering or keep them motivated sa pagtapos ng mga questions na yun. So, some of the features that we wanted to put in gamifying board prep. And to be honest, na pinaka-inspiration namin dito was Duolingo. I don't know if you have,
Yeah, yan. Sasabihin ko na nga eh. Yun ang naisip ko eh.
sobrang, sobrang cute niya.
Yeah.
Sobrang cute niya na ang daming, so many things that we can learn from Duolingo. Yung premium model nila, it's something na worth,
Yeah.
worth for us to also remodel kasi it works eh. It works for different countries eh. So we hope now we can do it in the future.
Yeah, actually, naging viral din somehow si Duolingo. And I can see actually kasi si Duolingo is about learning a new language. And I can see similarity with studying for the board exam. And for me lang siguro ang idadagdag ko na input if I may parang
Go lang.
if ako kasi if I will enter a new app, parang gusto ko rin na parang meron talagang kumbaga merong guide and merong roadmap kumbaga from starting
Roadmap,
from
yeah.
level 0. Yun. So
Oo.
I think especially for a lot of people na medyo lost pa, medyo confused So I want a sort of kumbaga direction din na this is how we will start level 1 para may ganun may level 1 and may levels up to level 50 and then yung kumbaga natatrack ko din yung achievement ko and natatrack ko din kumbaga yung parang ito na yung mga cover ko areas, ito na yung kumbaga na-achieve ko. Ito na yung achievement ko kasi very big yun yung I can see my progress and I can see kumbaga the milestones that I have done. But I guess yun din yung plano nyo with the
Yes.
badges and with the achievements. I really think that's cool actually. And pwede mo ba i-compare nga, ayun, not really compare pero parang pwede mo i-showcase sa ibang tao, sa iyong mga friends, para meron ka ring kumbaga spirit ng review center na you can interact with other people, with other reviewer. Oy, ito na yung natapos ko. You can see my badge in my profile. Yeah, I think that's really
Level 50 na ako. Nasang level ka na.
Yeah. Yeah. Uy, natapos ko ng area na to. I have this badge for for this topic, for this skill kumbaga. Ayun. So maraming salamat Toffee for this very fun and very
Thank you din,
insightful
Jan.
conversation. I actually enjoyed talking with you and learning about this dynamics yung board exam and what you're doing at board prep. So if our listeners want to know more about board prep or maybe they want to they want to use board prep, they want to download the app. Is it an app pala? So how can they download the app and how can they know more about board prep?
Yeah, right now we're operating on website pa lang. It's boardprep.com. If they wanted to try out the questions, if they wanted to go to the website naman, it's myboardprep.org naman. But yung current na pinapropose namin with other funders, it's more on the app. Kasi we found some of our customers who don't have internet or limited internet. Ang gagawin nila is sila sa bayan and then mag-internet sila. Pagkagamit ng board prep, tapos babalik sila sa kanilang wala na silang access kasi nasa website.
Yeah.
Pero yung app, they can download the app and then when they go home, they can have offline access. So, yun talaga yung goal namin na, we wanted to help those people na wala talaga access as much. So, hopefully the app can come in next year. We're preparing for it. And if any of you are interested, funders, go lang. I mean, we'll be very happy to entertain you and see where can our collaboration will go.
Yeah, so for interested partners, so collab with board prep and para sa mga gustong gumamit ng board prep, so go to the website, we'll put those links below and abangan ang app maybe next year. So maraming salamat Toffee for this conversation.
Thank you everyone.
Salamat.
Thank you very much to our 33 patrons. This episode is super powered by AskDexPH Academy, our official e-learning partner. Get certifications on Lean Six Sigma, project management, data science, and many more. 1 CFO services, bookkeeping and tax, and payroll processing for startups and small businesses. VV Code Technologies, IT solutions specializing in software development, blockchain smart contracts, digital wallets, decentralized applications, and cybersecurity. Tuala, the next evolution of digital trust. Privacy-focused, seamless digital experience for sharing identity information across Web 2 and Web 3 ecosystems. Creations, Divas, Web3 microblogging app promoting freedom of speech and content ownership, Benjoy's Food Products, the home of premium bacon and Tapa and Tocino, and Space Cebu, the biggest branch in the Philippines, global co-working space, meeting rooms and private offices for startups, digital nomads, and freelancers. Looking for buy and sell online with Sigurado sellers. NutriCoach, the all-in-one productivity tool for dietitians and nutritionists. And Podify Team, podcast launch, production, editing, and management company, helping to increase podcasters' efficiency. This episode is powered by Uplift Codecamp, SeriousMD, Board Prep, Pareto Consulting, Zayls, and Packetworx. Please support the podcast through the links in the description.